Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
7, O'Connor and Company. Chris Plant coming up in a bit. It's me and Mercedes Schlapp. Mercedes, these Ivy League campuses, they just can't quit the anti-Semitism. They're all in.
It's horrific. You know, it's such an organized, coordinated attack on these Jewish students. It's outrageous that the universities keep allowing for this.
The latest comes in the campus of Yale University. This, as a Israeli national security minister, was giving a speech to a Jewish group on campus in New Haven, Connecticut. They set up a Jewish exclusion zone in the middle of the quadrangle. They're all wearing face masks, by the way, because, you know, we have a pandemic. No, wait a minute. That was 4 years ago. And videos of Jewish students trying to walk across the campus that they're spending, $100,000 a year to attend, and they are kept. People locking arms with their terrorist scarves around their necks and their face masks to hide their identity, keeping Jewish students. Why are they hiding their identity, Adam Guillette? Why aren't they proud of their Jew hatred? Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, is this encampment still going on? Because it did look as though the Yale administration looks like they did a token attempt to do something about this, and there was an arrest or something. What's going on now in Yale?
Yeah, they passed out QR codes saying that if they didn't end their encampment, they were going to be in really, really serious trouble. I think they threatened double secret probation, and the kids did back down. So that was resolved at Yale. What we're hearing now is that Columbia, the mecca, as we know, of anti-Semitism, is going to restart their encampment, supposedly. But I was glad to at least see that the Yale encampment was a brief one.
Well,
I gotta ask you.
Hold on. I just need to appreciate the Dean Wormer reference there, which was fantastic, and thank you for that. And Adam, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought when you threw in the latest one at Columbia too.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
So the Israeli national security minister was giving this speech. He was actually not even on the Yale campus. He was near Yale. So this is what's fascinating. Not even on campus, but near Yale. And then he was at this private Jewish, he gave it at this private Jewish society at Yale, but not affiliated with the university. But these people, they are getting organized. You got to wonder, where is the funding coming? How are they getting all this brainwashed material? Where they're getting it from? I mean, Adam, these are the serious questions that need to be asked. I almost think that there needs to be an investigation of how these student groups are being funded and how they're literally, it is complete chaos that they're forming. And it's not only that, it's not only just protesting the national security minister, it is also blocking Jewish students. The Jewish students have to feel like they're in fear. Your thoughts on what else can be done? We know President Trump has moved on certain actions, but what else can be done to ensure the protection of Jewish students?
Yeah, there were videos yesterday even of them throwing water bottles at Jewish students on campus. And I say this as a Jew, some of the Jews need to stick up for themselves a little bit. In a world in which half of the planet on these college campuses, it seems, is wearing a keffiyeh, if I'm a Jew on a college campus, I'd be proudly wearing a mezuzah, proudly wearing a Star of David, instead of cowering in a corner. I think that only brings upon more bullying. They need to stand up to these bullies in the way I think that the Trump administration, to their credit, has done. Yale, by the way, took the brave step of kicking that student group off campus. Yale's for Palestine, the charismatic racists. They got kicked off campus. But that means nothing to these kids. They don't care about the law. You think they care if they have an official student organization? It means nothing to them. And I always say it's not about funding. Most of these kids are your garden variety, wealthy, liberal kids from the burbs. They spent 13 years hearing DEI garbage, hearing that the West is evil. That's the funding, is K through 12 education. And yes, you've got the foreign troublemakers in the Students for Justice in Palestine. Their funding comes from their wealthy Qatari parents buying them Lambos. But it's not money behind it. It is truly hate.
The Trump administration has stopped $2.2 billion in federal funds for Harvard. They're now threatening another $1 billion in federal grants, and they're investigating rescinding Harvard's nonprofit status. Harvard's reply is to sue the Trump administration. Where does this stand right now?
So, we're going to see, first initially, it did seem like Harvard was saying, okay, that's all right. We don't want your funding. We're going to be the Hillsdale College of Hate. and go without funding so that we can, allow anti-Semitism to stay on our campus. But then they realize, wait a second, it turns out we like money, so they're suing. We'll see what happens from it. But it's just unbelievable to think that these institutions, Harvard with a $53 billion endowment, feel like they are owed our tax dollars. Like it's not our property, but theirs. And if they don't get our tax dollars, they're going to sue to get our tax dollars, even though they're not doing what the federal government wants. And I have some libertarian friends, I'm a libertarian, who are saying, well, I don't think it's right for them to just, pull funding because they don't like what the university's doing. What if they did it to us? Which is hysterical because there are no libertarian universities that accept federal funding. Find for me the list of conservative college campuses in America. They don't exist, so let them try. And if they wanted to, great, because this stuff shouldn't be funded by the federal government for anyone.
Can I ask you, though, we've got these Democrat congressional members really like dying on the hill of not only like criminal illegal aliens in the state of Maryland, but also these quote unquote students so they go and they do these press conferences, down in Louisiana, where one of the students is being detained. I would say the pro-Hamas protester organizer being detained. Why do the Democrats keep making these people their martyrs? I mean, it makes no sense to me.
It truly is unbelievable, and many of them are all actually dying in effigy. They burn them in effigy and protest even the Democrats on these campuses. It's not as if they're beloved by the Students for Justice in Palestine crowd and the anti-West crowd. They hate the Democrats too. So it's truly unbelievable to see mainstream Democrats embrace extremist radicals who hate all of the West, including them. You make such a great point. What a hill to die on.
Adam Guillette, Accuracy Media. You got those rolling billboards. You gonna dust them off and bring them back out for this latest round?
We'll be visiting Yale likely soon. We were going to visit Cornell, but thankfully they dumped their anti-Semitic performer for their end-of-year event. But we'll be at Yale soon. We're updating our action alerts this morning at YaleHatesJews.com and HarvardHatesJews.com, where you can see the regularly updated list of leading anti-Semites on these campuses. Send a message to the private email addresses of the Board of Trustees, and we're definitely going to keep putting frowns on their faces.
I love the subtle and somewhat ambiguous URL, YaleHatesJews.com. Well done, Adam. Always good to have you, my friend. Thanks for fighting the fight.